It was during the day, but everything became dark. And for me, it was just a moment of saying, wow, God is really, really alive. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Mandisa Shozi, and if you are new here, please do subscribe. And if you are a returning subscriber, my day ones, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the consistent love. I can't believe I'm actually outside again, doing another video outside, but I guess I just didn't have a choice. So I decided to rock this red lipstick, and I think it looks good on me. I think it looks good on me. What do you guys think? I'm not really a fan of makeup, so I only have this lipstick on. My gran once said if you put a red lipstick on, you look like a bad bee. But yeah. So I'm officially part of the bad bee gang, okay? Anyways, let's get into the video. Let me stop talking. Let's get into the video. So today's video is a story time. Yeah, yo. Okay, so this story time is about how I got into a bus accident, a horrific bus accident. Okay, so it was back in 2012, and we had like a funeral at home, not like at home, but like, okay, so my maternal grandmother has 3 sisters and 1 brother. So one of her sisters had lost her husband, and her husband passed away. He got sick, for a few days, if not like a week, and I don't remember what was wrong with him. Yeah, I don't quite remember the diagnosis, but he got sick for a very short period of time, and then he passed away. So let me just fast forward to the day of the funeral. So it's the day of the funeral, and everyone's busy. Our parents, my mom and the other elders, were busy preparing food, cooking, cleaning, all of that. And there was also a cow that was slaughtered that day. Okay, I'm not sure if it was on Friday or that day on the day of the funeral, but a cow was slaughtered. Okay, so people were busy, like the elders were busy, and we as kids, we were just playing outside because I was still a baby in 2012. So we playing, and there was a bus that was gonna transport the community. That was gonna transport like the neighbors, friends, family, anyone who didn't have private transport, anyone who didn't have like transport to go to the church and to the cemetery. So we decided, it was me, my little sister, my little brother, and my other cousins. We decided to hop onto the bus. Why? I don't know. Mind you, my mom had told me earlier, please don't go anywhere. I am busy, so I'm not going to be able to keep an eye on you. Just don't go anywhere. Hi, us being kids, we just hopped onto the bus, and the bus took off to, oh, let me mention, the bus was an overload, and and we sat at the back because we didn't want anyone to see us. So we sat at the back of the bus, and yeah, the bus took off from his house to the church which was in Clement. Yeah, so the service was held there, like normal funeral vibes, obituary singing, this and this and that, just the whole service of the funeral. And my maternal grandmother, saw us at the Clement church, and she was like scolding at us, what are you guys doing here? We told you to stay home, don't. And we were like, there was nothing she could do basically because we were already there, and she said that she had a bad feeling about the bus. She said she had like a very uneasy feeling with regards to the bus. She said she felt like the bus was unsafe, so that's why she was like shouting at us as to why are we here, because nobody knew we were there. They thought that the kids were just left at the house. So, yeah, the service finished, and then after that, we hopped onto the bus again. So now the bus was from the church. It was going to the cemetery. So the bus was going to a place. The cemetery was based in a place called Kwadabek, and yeah. So what happened was, I remember the bus taking a turn. It took a turn, and then it went down a very, very steep and narrow road. The road literally looked like this. This is how the road looked. So it turned and it went down that road. And okay. Immediately when the bus turned into that road, it started speeding. It started speeding in such a way that it was bumping up and down. And then, okay, let me explain this. So this is the road that I'm talking about. The road was so small in such a way that it looked like a passage. This is a small road. On the right hand side, it's people houses, and then on the left hand side, it's like iwa, kona iwa. What is iwa? It's like there's a cliff, right? And that cliff had like lots of rocks, and it looked really, really dangerous. I really don't know what was wrong with the bus, but I know it was overloaded, and secondly, it had lost brakes according to people. Yeah. So the bus driver decided to do what I think was a really, really good idea. He decided to turn the steering wheel towards people houses. So he turned the bus towards people houses, and the bus hit someone's house, and it rolled. I don't even know how many times it rolled. So it hit someone's house, and it rolled, and it turned upside down. So I think that was really a good decision, because imagine if he decided to turn the bus towards the left hand side. Like, I don't think we would have survived, because I think if the bus got onto the cliff, we were gonna die. We were all gonna die. It was probably gonna bust or something. And if he didn't turn the steering wheel to the right, and if he decided to continue driving the bus down the road, it was gonna be we were not gonna survive either, because the road had a very sharp turn at the towards the end of the road. A very close family friend of my grand's decided Uguti he wanted to escape during the accident. What he did was, he was trying to get out of the bus through the window while the bus was moving. So he got out of the window, and half of his body, oh my god, I think it happened simultaneously. When he was trying to get out through the window, the bus driver, it was when the bus driver was turning the bus towards the right. So I think it happened like simultaneously, and half of his body got into a sewage. Half of his body was left on the bus. Hey guys, hey. So that's basically how he died, and I think he was the first person to die. And then after that, it was just lights out. It just became dark. It was during the day, but everything became dark, because I was aware, but like what is happening? I'm still questioning myself. What is happening? And I remember there was a lady who was on top of, not like on top of me, but like on top of my legs. So I was able to push her away, and I was able to stand up. So people started getting out of the bus through the windows. People started escaping through the windows. Someone shouted, "The bus is leaking." So everyone thought, oh my god, the bus is leaking, it's gonna bust. So everyone wanted to get out of that bus as soon as possible. So people started getting out of the windows, and then me and my siblings and my cousins, we also got out of we got out through the windows. For me, the whole accident for me was not as traumatic as it was as what I saw when I got out of the bus. We got out, it was screaming, everyone was screaming. It was just chaotic. We saw a lot of what do I want to say? We saw a lot of terrifying things. Imagine seeing a person who's passed away, who's got their intestines coming out of their mouths. Imagine seeing a person, I remember there was this man who had his one ear just hanging, and it was just this whole ear was hanging basically, and it was just like a tiny tiny bit of meat that was holding it together, that was helping it hang, like, if I'm making sense. Yeah, and I also remember this guy who was cut in half, but not like the whole head cut in half. This part was cut in half. And yeah, it was just so traumatic and so chaotic and terrifying. I feel like with regards to the whole experience, the whole accident, the whole bus speeding, bumping, turning upside down, hitting someone's house, it was not as traumatic as, just that whole experience was not as traumatic as seeing people hurt like that, seeing like dead bodies all over, and a lot of people hurt, like really really hurt. It was either you died, you were really hurt, like really badly, and or you survived, or you didn't have a scratch. I got out of that accident with not even a single scratch. I didn't have like not even a tiny single scratch. And the condition of the bus, it was really really bad. It was in a really bad condition, in such a way that till this day I still question, how did I get out of that bus alive? Like, I also don't know. Like, I still question till this day, God, how did I get out of that bus alive? And for me, it was just a moment of saying, wow, God is really, really alive. Like, God is really there. Because how did I get out of that accident with not even a single scratch? I don't know. But none of the kids were hurt. Like, all of the kids from my household, like my cousins and my siblings and me, we were not hurt. Like, nobody was hurt. Most of the people who got hurt and most of the people that passed away, it was the congregation. The person that was supposed to be buried was a pastor. And most of the people that got hurt, that got really injured, was the congregation. And most of the people that passed away was the congregation. And we only had one person who passed away in our family, which was like a distant family member, and a family friend, the one who tried to escape through the window, the one who got into a sewage. Yeah, so those are the two people that died who we knew. The people who were driving in front of us, who were in private cars, were able to get to the cemetery. They were able to continue with the funeral at the cemetery. And yeah, so they came back to the scene of the accident. And when I tell you, my sister's grand was in tears. Like, she was hysterical, because imagine losing your husband, and during the funeral of your husband, people get hurt, people get into an accident, people die. She was hysterical. Like, she was crying so badly, because I don't know, she felt really bad, I'm sure. Another family friend who was not injured, who was in a bus accident but not injured, um gave me her phone to call my mom. I did call my mom, and I explained to her, Mom, we were involved in an accident. Mom, we were involved in a bus accident. She was like, what do you mean you were involved in a bus accident? And that was the last thing that I heard of her. Like, after that, I couldn't hear her. Like, I was trying so hard to explain to her. Like, I was rambling, I was talking fast. This is what happened, dun, 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 dun. And I couldn't hear her response. All I could hear was people screaming, like the noise that was around me, but I couldn't hear my mom over the phone. I think someone else called her, or she heard what I was saying, because a few minutes later she came to the whole accident scene. And I have never seen my mom so scared. She was so scared, and she was literally shaking the whole time she was coming towards us. And the minute she got to us, she held us like this, and she said, God, thank you, because she was so scared, and she was literally like shaking. And yeah, she couldn't even speak. The way she was like, so the way she was terrified. We went back home, not like home, we went back to the house, and only to find out that everything that was there, the food that was cooked, the meat, the cow that was slaughtered, everything was spoiled. Everything went rotten. And that was just a realization for me, Wuti, no, there was actually an evil force taking over this entire funeral. Because how does the food get spoiled? How does a whole funeral, a whole pastor's funeral, turn into a horrific bus accident? How did that happen? Unless it was evil taking over. So yeah, after the accident, I would say I was really traumatized, because I remember I used to take a bus to school before the accident. I used to take a bus to school because my mom used to buy me a ticket uh, for the bus. And after the accident, I just couldn't take the bus anymore. I told her I cannot take the bus anymore. I need to take a taxi at least. But the taxi didn't help. Like, nothing helped, because I did not like transport anymore. I was traumatized in such a way that this one time I took a taxi to school, and it was full. People who know would know, with the taxis from Kwandengezi to Chatsworth, they are always overloaded, they are always speeding. And this one time, this taxi was overloaded, just like the bus. It was overloaded, and I was scared for my life. So I opened the window to just, because it was just too full, and he started speeding. I don't think he was speeding that much, because I was traumatized, Debo. I was like, yo, I was scared. So it's the taxi started speeding in such a way that, yo, I was terrified. I started crying, and I looked at the window. I didn't want people to see what I was crying. Yesterday when I was online, I came across this quote that talked about trauma. I felt like I related to that quote a lot, so I am just gonna read it. It reads, "A note to anyone who needs to hear it. We don't get over or move on from our trauma. We are forced to make space for it. We learn to live with it, and sometimes we thrive in spite of it." And I feel like that's true, because we never really get over our trauma. I mean, we do move on with our lives, but it's something that's always going to be there. It's something that you cannot remove. It's something that's constantly going to be there. It's something that you can never forget. So yeah, how did I deal with it? I never dealt with it. I've never seen a therapist or whatever, or a psychologist. Like, I just moved on with my life. So if you are someone who's currently dealing with trauma with regards to car accident, or any type of trauma for that matter, I think you should seek help, seek professional help, deal with it. Ungafani nami, ungadeal nayo. But I don't know how I dealt with it, but I'm fine now. Like, it's something that happened a long time ago, and yeah, not that I'm saying if something happened a long time ago, you should be fine. Nje, I'm fine. And yeah, I never dealt with it. So seek professional help. So that is the story of how I got into a horrific bus accident a few years ago in 2012. And it was such a big story. I think if you could research, you could still find all the details of the accident. Yeah, so that brings us to the end of our video. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below for more videos like this, or for more story times. And also, please, let's engage. I love hearing from you guys. I love talking to you guys, creating a relationship with you guys. Please, let's talk about trauma. If you have been in a car accident, please comment down below and share your experience with me. Share your trauma, share what you went through with me. I will truly appreciate that. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and also turn on post notifications so that you can be notified every time I post a new video. Until next time, guys, I love you guys so much. Stay safe and stay blessed. Bye.